Hi everybody, my name is Lindsay Coulter and today we're going to be reviewing the Lomi. So the Lomi is a countertop composter that takes all of your scraps from the fridge, it takes scraps from your plants if you have leaves that are falling off, and not only that, it also breaks down bioplastics and it turns them into dirt that you can actually put back into your plants and feed your soil with. This is a really cool alternative for anyone who either doesn't have a green bin program or is just disgusted by the idea of green bins. We personally don't have a green bin program here in our building, so when I was getting targeted 7 times a day by Lomi products, I decided that maybe it's time to pull the trigger on it and actually get one. So these were on pre-sale for I think probably over a year. They are starting to ship units now, so you can actually purchase them now and they'll be shipped within a month or two. This is one of the very first units that I've actually seen on the market, so I thought it would be a really good time for me to do a quick little review for you guys. I actually just got this 2 days ago, so I am still getting familiar with it, but I have read every single manual from front to back, so I'm feeling pretty well versed in it, and I'm really excited to run a second cycle. I've already run a first cycle. The thing works. I feel pretty confident in that. I've been collecting some more scraps from our fridge around the house, and we're gonna run a second cycle for the video. This is a Lomi itself, just to give you an idea of the size. It's like the size of a bread box. So obviously it's going to take up a little bit of space on your countertop. To give you an idea, Lindsay for scale, I'm 5'4", so it's not tiny. If you live in a small apartment or condo, we have a pretty sizable kitchen and it still takes up a fair amount of space, but if you're replacing the nastiness of a green bin, I feel like a little bit of extra space on your counter is totally okay. I love the look of it. I think it's a really nice sleek design. The button controls on the front here are really easy to use. So far, so good. So there are 3 different settings depending on what you're putting into it and what kind of end product you're looking for. The longest one that it runs for is 24 hours. That you would only want to include greens, so scraps from making a meal, any organic waste basically you can put in here. There are some limitations. You don't want to be putting in like avocado pits or I don't know, chicken bones or anything like that. But honestly, there are so many things that are fair game. You can actually even put dairy products into this, which I was super surprised at. So you can put like cheese that's gone bad, anything like that you can put into here and it will run. So that's a 24-hour cycle, and the 24-hour cycle is the one that's going to produce the best dirt for soil. So that retains more of the microorganisms in the dirt. So then there's the 5 to 8 hour cycle, which is the Lomi approved cycle. That one is if you're going to be putting in not just organic waste, so you do have to put in organic waste in this as well, but you can also do bioplastics that are Lomi approved. I've included the bag that the Lomi actually shipped in, and that's gonna be going into this round. So that's the cycle I'm gonna be running for the video. So it's 5 to 8 hours, and it's literally gonna turn plastic and all of this other junk into dirt that I can put into my soil. The fastest one, which is Eco Express, is 3 to 5 hours. That one uses the lowest energy, of course, because it's the shortest, 3 to 5 hours. And that one is going to be for organic waste, no bioplastics. But I think the difference there between the 24-hour and the quickest one is that it's just going to retain less microorganisms, so the soil's not going to be as nutrient dense in the end. It uses heat, it uses a grinder inside of it. So I'll actually show you. There is a filter here that I've filled with activated charcoal that it comes with. And then this is the bucket that you put everything in. I have actually put a few things in here already. Coffee grounds, some espresso beans and stuff are already in there. You can fill this as you go. You don't have to like keep a bowl of your stuff and fill it later. You can fill it as you go. I imagine most people would probably fill this within a day or two, depending on your eating habits, how many people are in your home, all that stuff. If you're doing things like meat, things that get nasty faster, I would suggest running it more frequently. I'm a vegetarian. We don't eat meat in this house really, so this is really gonna be mostly greens and stuff going in here, so I don't think it's gonna smell too bad, but it does have the activated charcoal on the side to make sure that it doesn't smell. I'm gonna start throwing some stuff in here. So I've got some gross cilantro. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna toss it all in. I've got stuff from my plants that I have been pruning for the past couple of days. I've got, yeah, you should definitely do this as you go so that you're not just like, this is gross. Honestly, mostly plants. I've done a lot of plant trimmings over the past couple of days, a lime that didn't get eaten fast enough, and then this is the plastic that the Lomi came in, and they just recommend that you stuff this down the side, that you don't like leave it on top. And then there's a fill line that you want to make sure that you don't go past. So I'll show that to you. I have to peel a sticker off, but it's just right below where this red and white sticker is. So that's it. I'm gonna run it. I'm super excited. This is a bigger like load than I did yesterday, so I'm excited to see what it actually produces. 1 second, there's one other thing that I have to add in. So the only other thing that's missing from this is these are Lomi pods. These are a compost accelerator. They're just like these tiny little pods. Toss it in on top with 50 milliliters of water going over top of your stuff and the tablet. And that just helps it accelerate a little bit faster. So it goes, the top goes on here. Okay. And that's that. So I'm gonna be putting this on the 5 to 8 hour cycle. That's the Lomi approved cycle for bioplastics. I have some girlfriends coming over shortly. I'm gonna put this thing away, run it for the next 5 to 8 hours, and then tomorrow we'll come back here and I will show you what it produces. Okay, real quick here, just want to show you guys how easy this is to get started. So you just hold this down to change the mode. So now it's on Lomi approved. Hit it one more time. And that's it. It also gives you a little bit of an idea of what it looks like size-wise against a KitchenAid mixer. Hi everybody, we are back. Yesterday you saw me put a bunch of scraps into my Lomi, and today is the great reveal to see what it has done. So in an ideal world, if it has functioned how it's supposed to, it will have taken all of the scraps that I typically would have put in my garbage can, and it will have turned them into dirt. There is one thing that I want to mention, because I was chatting about this last night with my girlfriends who are also plant people, and they brought up a good point. I do want to clarify, it's not just dirt that you want to just take and immediately put on top of your plants. It does need to be mixed in with some soil, so otherwise it's going to just sit on top and it actually might not do so well for your plants. So if you are going to be using this on your plants, which I do recommend you do, it's going to be great for them. Just get like a big plastic bin, mix in some soil from the garden center in with the dirt from your Lomi. One thing I will say, I had my girlfriends over here last night while this thing was running. I was not sure how that was going to go because it had to run for 5 to 8 hours, and it was only a couple of hours into the cycle once they came over. I was afraid it was going to be like a noisy dishwasher or something like that, and actually they didn't even notice that it was going. I noticed when it finished because it beeps at the end of the cycle, but nobody knew that it had even been running the entire time we'd been here. So that was really exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and we're gonna see what it's like. Oh my gosh, it is fully dirt, like dry dirt. That is crazy, because I put some like gross stuff in here. After I finished filming, I had a salad that was like rotting in my fridge, and I tossed that in here, and it was really gross. This is impressive. This is gross, obviously. I think that's the only gross part of this, to be honest with you, is the lid has some moisture on it, so that I'll give a wipe. But let me pull this bin out to show you what's in here. So this is the dirt that came out of that. You can see it's totally dry. So that worked exactly how it said it was going to. I'm so impressed. I feel like this is going to be a total game changer when it comes to like waste. It is already, just in a few days, saving so much food waste and so much just waste in general from going into a landfill, which is really exciting. So I'm going to go over a few things that I feel like you're probably wondering about the Lomi, because they're definitely questions that I had. I'm going to go over a more in-depth list of what can actually go into the Lomi. So we got fruit and vegetable scraps, food leftovers, plate scrappings, meat scraps, soft bones, so from fish, soft shells, eggs and shrimp, grains, bread, cereal, oatmeal, rice, pasta, pancakes. It says don't pour in the milk, so that's interesting. I think it's just a moisture thing. They don't want too much moisture going in. paper coffee filters and the coffee grounds. So if you use paper coffee filters, you can just take the whole thing and plunk it right in here. Tea bags, loose leaf tea, rinds. This one was really surprising to me. You can put watermelon and melon rinds in here. You just have to cut them up small enough so that they don't get caught in the grinder. Peels from oranges, mandarins, bananas, hummus, very specific, eggs, house plants, and flowers, yard trimmings, shredded, cut up cardboard. That's really cool. We get a lot of deliveries in this house, so it's nice to know that I can do that instead of just always recycling them. Paper items, napkins, paper towels, tissue papers, compostable paper plates, bowls, cups. And then there's a lot more that you can do as well, just in smaller quantities. So like very hard peels, so corn husks, a pineapple head, pistachio shells, apples, soiled compostable paper towels, napkins and tissues, soiled compostable paper food packaging, honey, maple syrup, jams, nut butters, sticky foods, plain paper documents, envelopes. Those are all things that you can still put in here just in smaller quantities. And now I'm just gonna tell you the things that are an absolute never as far as what you can put into here. So if you put these in, it's definitely gonna void your warranty. They're not gonna help take care of you if anything goes wrong because you're not supposed to put this in here. So hard bones, chicken, beef, pork, lamb, cooking oils, grease, and very greasy foods, fruit pits, so like the pits of an avocado, peach, apricot, nectarine, soap, shampoo, and conditioner bars, lined bags, so cookies and chips, like those like metallic lined bags, soil diaper, baby wipes, cigarettes, metal, plastic, and glass, foil wrap, diapers, styrofoam, pet waste, alcohol, pastes. To be honest, most of these things seem pretty obvious to me, but I am still surprised at some of the things that can go in, more so than the things that can't go in. So bioplastics is obviously a huge one. So if you get takeout and you get it from a place that uses compostable forks, knives, plastics, those kinds of things, those can actually go in here, which is so cool. Because I always wonder when I get a fork that says it's compostable, that just means it's gonna sit in a landfill for 15 years instead of 100. So this way, if you use a Lomi, it obviously gets broken down pretty much immediately instead, which is really cool. So as far as the cost of these things go, I'm sure you're curious. I bought mine back in December of last year. So I bought it before these units were actually shipping out to anybody. They were still in the production phase of things. And when you purchase something through a Kickstarter or a pre-sale, generally the cost is a little bit lower. I paid $400 Canadian for this, and they're currently quite a bit more expensive. Now they've switched them to being sold in American dollars, which I do think is interesting because it's a Canadian company, but I think they just have a lot of American customers and they have international customers, and it makes more sense for them to sell them in American dollars. It does make it more expensive for Canadians though. So currently they're selling for $500 American. It's only $50 to reserve yours, and then the final balance of that gets charged when it actually ships to you. So you're not paying that all up front. You're just paying the $50 to reserve yours, and then once it actually ships in a month or two, then you'll actually pay for the rest of the device. When it comes to the maintenance of these things, I know a lot of the time when you buy something on a Kickstarter or another type of campaign like that, you pay for the device itself and then you realize that you have monthly subscriptions that you have to pay into. They do have a membership coming, although I don't think it's out yet, and that will just give you those Lomi pods that I showed you yesterday. I'm guessing it might also come with some activated charcoals. So that's what goes in this filter system here. So this filter, it looks very similar to the filters that would go into, say, a Brita. The nice thing about this is, though, that it's refillable. So you just have to get your activated charcoal and put it in here, and I am sure that that's not a thing that you have to buy directly from Lomi's. There's not really a lot of ongoing costs for this. The bag of Lomi pods, there are 45 of them in it, so I'm not sure how long that will last me. I haven't quite figured out if I have to use one of those every single time or if I'm just trying to break down more fibrous materials. So I will experiment with that, and maybe I can do a 3-month follow-up or something to see how this thing's still functioning and any other surprise costs that have come up with it. I know I've only had it for a few days, but so far there's only 2 major downsides that I can see to this. One is that obviously the cost is going to be a little bit prohibitive for some people. And 2, I found the instruction manual to be a little bit confusing. And I think that that happens when you have a new product that's just come out into the market. I think that they maybe made the instruction manual at a different time from when they actually had these finished units built and the packaging done. One of the confusing things is that it says go onto the Lomi app and it walks you through how to put everything together. So I downloaded the Lomi app, and I didn't find anywhere on that app that would walk me through how to put it together. So I was using the paper instruction guides to figure out where to put the activated charcoal. So it goes in the top and in the back here. But one of the weird things, and this is like super specific, it says in the manual that it comes with 2 pouches. It says use the first pouch to fill the top and the second pouch to fill the back, but the pouches aren't numbered and they're the exact same size, and it specifically says they're different sizes, so make sure you put the right one in the right spot. So I just winged it. I just put a bunch of activated charcoal in both sides and hope for the best. And I mean, so far it's been working out, but if you're an instructions kind of person and you want to follow it by the rule, it is still a tiny bit confusing. And I'm sure that's something that they're going to work out over the next few months. It's just that it's a brand new product and they haven't figured out every single kink yet. But considering it is a brand new product that does something very innovative that not very many companies are doing, I would say they've done a pretty good job if the only thing that I could find wrong with it is like a couple of lines of confusing text in their instruction manual. So that's it for me today. I hope you've enjoyed this review of the Lomi. I will keep you guys updated. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. I will be happy to answer them for you if I can. And if you are interested in purchasing your own Lomi, I'll include a link to purchase yours in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.